Yes, so let's do it. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, man. Are we recording?
Yes.
Recording? Okay. We have some questions to do about Odisea.
Okay.
How can I pronounce it?
Odisea, Odyssey. How do you say it in Portuguese?
Odisea.
Odisea. So we say Odisea. Yeah.
What does Odisea do today?
So Odisea is an innovation lab, and our goal is to accelerate what we believe to be the two most important technologies over the course of the next few decades, which are cryptography and artificial intelligence. AI is going to massively transform the way education and healthcare and identity systems and so forth all operate. Cryptography, on the other hand, in many ways is a response to AI. Whether we talk about identity, whether we talk about, for example, different mechanisms when it comes to privacy, data sovereignty, when we think about misinformation and so forth, right? So that's really just our general premise around the importance of cryptography's sovereignty around money and so forth, right? So, but we don't talk about crypto or blockchain because we think there's just a much wider use for cryptography as a whole. Latin America is actually a really special region, right?
Yes.
So it's pretty crazy that from Mexico all the way down to Argentina, we share a lot of the similar values and cultures. Even Brazil, right? Like it's a different language, but I feel like as a Guatemalan, I resonate so much with you guys. We were just talking about Korea just now. It's like Koreans and Japanese people don't have a similar language. You know, there's a lot of friction between them, right? Our goal is how do we build this entire sort of integrated region that's powered by technology that ultimately looks to explore and understand what the future of, again, these two important technologies we were discussing. But in order for that to happen, there's a lot that needs to be done. So we do a lot of research. So we work very closely with the Ethereum Foundation on, understanding AI risks in Latin America. We work with Eric Schmidt, former CEO and chairman of Google, to explore how we can catalyze more investment into frontier tech in the region. So that's not beyond AI and crypto, but biotech and so forth. And then we leverage that research to inform our programs, right? So we are building what we call the Stanford of Latin America, which is essentially this educational academy where we want to pump out, tens of thousands of engineers basically across the region, specifically focused on crypto and AI. And then we build out, this entire flywheel where once you graduate from our programs, you either go build products or you join our incubation and acceleration programs where we invest in teams. So to date, we've invested over $1.5 million to our different programs that we run with Coinbase. So we think about ourselves like as an innovation operating system, essentially, right? And so, and then lastly, we're also in the midst of mobilizing some capital to be able to invest across our entire ecosystem. So it's a lot that we do. Sometimes people are like, how do you guys do all this? But, again, it's like we really see ourselves as being this innovation ecosystem.
What your perspective of the intersection between crypto and AI?
It's, a really good friend of mine talks about AI is an offensive technology and crypto is a defensive technology, right? So you were just saying, for example, like AI is going to catalyze all this economic abundance and we're going to see so much prosperity and deflation and all the promises of AI, and we're going to fix cancer and climate change and all these things. There are a lot of AI risks as well, where we talk about AGI or artificial superintelligence as well. And we really do think that cryptography essentially is like an answer to a lot of these existential questions. It's like deep fakes, for example. I know Brazil currently has a lot of legislation with regards to AI that is very concerned about deep fakes and people's identity being stolen online through AI, which this could be an AI conversation at this point, right? And so a lot of people are terrified about what that means. And the way we see it is cryptography is just the perfect match to a lot of these risks. So timestamping videos to ensure that these are verified. Digital identity that I can provably show that I'm a real human, for example, right? Privacy of our data. Everybody's now fighting for our data, right? And so how do we, there's things like fully homomorphic encryption, lightweight homomorphic encryption, which are different cryptographic methods that allow us to analyze data, run models on top of the data without necessarily revealing any of the conditions or any sensitive data there. Then we can start thinking as well about like, how do we get actually paid for the data, right? And then the other piece that is less like on the defensive side is AI agents. So we think like AI agents are going to be everywhere. Like you and I are not going to have a job essentially, right? Like we're just going to live in this like perfect economy where, speak to my phone, it's going to just do everything that like all the business deals, it's going to write all the emails, it's going to send, all the contracts, whatever. It's already happening. Like we use AI a lot in our company and I'm always like, guys, we need to use AI. Like if you're not using AI, I think a lot of companies have that philosophy as well. And then if you ask AI agents, like what payment rails do you want to use? It's always crypto, right? Because it's seamless and interoperable and so forth. I think that's also what's really exciting about AI is the capacity to be able to like move money around seamlessly with cryptography and blockchain.
That's a perfect technology.
Exactly, like agents love crypto, right? Because it's like all you need is a private key to be able to move money natively on the internet, essentially, right? So I think that's like a much more optimistic take of the intersection of crypto and AI.
What are you hoping to build in the coming years?
You know, I think for us is, so Naval Ravikant, who's one of my favorite thinkers in the space, he talks about 3 core pillars of leverage, right? And it's code, capital, and content. So code, we want to start shipping a lot more of products out into the world, right? And not just shipping products, but shipping people and things that ship products and code, right? The other angle is content, right? And so, you know, generating more content, more podcasts, more videos. You guys do a really great job at that, right? We were talking, when we met, right? You said like, we publish a lot on YouTube and then we're able to really engage people and, you know, people. One of the big theses is like, if we will end up working a lot less, so we'll probably consume a lot more content, right? And content will only get better. The fact that here we are with a tiny little thing, you know, and what it would take to produce the same caliber of content 50 years ago, we would have needed, you know, dozens of cameras and like these huge mics and everything else. Now it's with like a $500 camera and $200 microphones. Here we are, and it's like 95% of what you would get with the really high production stuff. So so I think people also, we live in this sort of like loneliness epidemic as well, and there's this whole notion of the happiness economy. And I think content enables us to establish like a human relationship with people as well. And then lastly is capital, right? So capital for us is really important. It's about moving energy. It's about being able to transport value around the world. And so there's sort of 2 fronts that we're excited by is how do we help people get access to these new frontier markets, right? By way of, you know, hedge funds and different vehicles, but then also how do they allocate into private markets by way of venture funds and so forth as well.
The last question that I have to you, it's a little personal, but I would like to hear of you. What are you most proud of in your work in the photography and AI space, and what legacy do you hope to leave for future generations?
That's a very interesting question. Yeah, I think what I'm most proud of, honestly, is finding like amazing people to work with. We have concepts and knowledge and insights that a lot of people don't have. The really big challenge is how do you find people that resonate with that? Because, and I'm sure you guys have found this as well, is like when you try to hire somebody on your team, it's like maybe sometimes they operate at like a standard that is not the really high caliber that you guys need. Yes. So like finding these like little nuggets of amazing people is certainly what I'm most proud of. And Steve Jobs used to talk about the fact that like as a founder, you need to spend 50% of your time recruiting, right? And like think about all the things that companies need to do. Like 50% on a single thing is actually really important. So I'd say like having a really clear sense for, you know, how do we build out the team is something I'm really proud of. And then on the legacy piece, yeah, I think that it's all about how do we unlock economic and social and environmental flourishing, right? And so I had the really great fortune to go to Greenland a few years ago, and I was there at the edge of the big ice, which is the largest ice cap in the northern hemisphere, and you see what that looks like today versus what it used to look like 50 years ago. Yes. And that image is really like deeply embedded in my mind. I was there for a whole week, so I got to see it every day, and there was no day and night because we were there during the summer solstice. So it was like always day, which was weird. But yes, I think I oftentimes think about that memory and how profoundly sad it is. I think we're probably at the point now with climate change, you know, it's runaway climate change is what we talk about, right? I mean, you guys live it here in Brazil, you're an incredibly important actor when it comes to these things. But, you know, now it's about like, how do we adapt to these new conditions? And I think technology is going to be like we need this technology to adapt. Without this technology, we're not going to be able to do it. And so it's rethinking like energy systems, food production systems from the ground up, essentially. And yeah, so I think that's really the legacy is just ensuring that this transition towards this new economy it goes as quickly as possible and as well as possible.
Thank you.
Obviously, thank you. Really love the work you guys do and excited to keep exploring ways to work together.
That's a pleasure to meet you too on Odisea and
Odisea.
Odisea.
Thank you so much.